Hello, it's Serenity, Infinite Light. So today's video is hopefully going to be a simplified version of many of my other videos. Kind of a condensed, a condensed version of other videos to try and get maybe those of you who are new to my channel up to speed about what I'm doing, what I teach, and basically just put pieces together to let you know how we got into the here and now of this world, basically. Okay. So, first, let's start at the beginning. This whole concept of God. Um, so, God, what humans would consider God, or who I refer to as source or mother. Um, is a feminine energy. I can't sit here and say that it's not. And I say it's, even though it's a feminine energy, because to put the she or the he onto that would not really be appropriate, because the feminine energy is basically the life energy. So when I say feminine energy, it's life. Think about if you strip away the female vessel, okay? What energy does the female, what is the prominent energy? It's life. They are life. They are life givers, life bearers. They literally take something that is not life yet and make it into life, and therefore physically bring forth life. That is the feminine energy. Okay. Um, and this is why the female is the one who takes the smallest amount of cells and matter and creates a literal being or life with it. That has never changed from the very beginning. But what I want to do is basically try to let you know exactly who Source is. Source is love. Source is light. Source is everything, but nothing contains it. It has no form. It's nameless. Um, but names have basically been given to Source by others, but really Source needs no name. Once again, as I've said in other videos, Source and ones who properly represent Source do not need accolades and devotion and praise and worship and all these things in order to exist. So, that whole concept of God wanting to be worshiped is false. It is. So, Source is the definition of unconditional love and compassion. Um, so, if you imagine being this conscious, loving energy, which I've mentioned in other videos, you want to be able to share this love and abundance, this experience with other conscious beings that have a separate consciousness from yourself, so they also can enjoy being in love and just, it's hard for me to explain, but life was not brought about by Source for selfish reasons. Source did not create other beings because Source needed to be worshiped or adored. That wasn't it at all. It was love. It's like, I have all of this love. What do I do with it? How can I express it? And thereby comes the physical or material worlds or universe. Okay? Hopefully that is clear as far as you getting a little bit of more of a proper picture of what Source is. Source is also referred to as the hidden God. the unknown God in certain cultures of the past. Amun was source. I mean, it's this hidden God that, ones knew existed, but knew absolutely nothing of it. So, yeah. So basically, when Source wanted to really bring about this thought of spreading love and into different consciousness, Source basically became two energies, which are masculine and feminine. Masculine being basically the true Father, the divine Father, the Son of God, and the female aspect, which is also known in many of the um, hidden gospels, the ones that were discovered as Sophia. So you have the grandfather or the Son of God or Source as the masculine energy, and then you have the feminine energy, which is Sophia or the mother of the universe. So these were the first archetypes of Source. Okay. So through these ones, these two were these offspring, which were known as Christ. Christ was not a he or a she, it was an energy of this divine source, which is love. So Christ is that love and life energy. Once again, there's always a duality to things. This is just the way things were set up. So I mentioned the word and this offspring, which is, basically truth because it comes from source. It is not corrupted like other archetypes of source that go further and further away from the original energy. That's why it's so important for basically the word to become flesh because it is not corrupted. The teachings of source itself are intact. But because these teachings are so different than what man has created or man-made doctrines, many who have been fooled to believe that truth is the lie and lie is the truth cannot even accept it. So this is the challenge. This has always been the challenge, even when Jesus was here, is trying to teach something that many mentally and spiritually could not handle. But this is also why Jesus in Matthew 15:7 through 9, um, yeah, I'll read that, had said, okay, hang on a minute. Matthew 15:7 through 9. I need my glasses. Yeah. All right. There we go. Now we're in business. Okay. This is where Jesus said, hypocrites. Well, did Isaiah prophesy about you, saying, these people draw near to me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me, and in vain they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men. Why do I bring this up? Because Jesus, as well as other avatars that he and his counterpart inhabited, were always accused of changing doctrines, changing the law. But the thing is, when you come from source, you know the original law, which is love. And you know everything that embodies that divine law of love, not the doctrines that were put about by men. And a lot of those are in this book. Many want to say it was inspired by God, but it actually was inspired by the very one who rebelled against source. And I will get into that now because basically the one who rebelled was a co-creator, another procreator. There are many procreators that, on behalf of source went to different realms universes, planets, and created life, that they were entrusted with this. It was a gift. Now, as I said in other videos, some people choose to use the gift as intended and others do not. And that's a problem. So basically, this co creator and procreator split from divine love and source. And that is in Genesis 2:4. That's why there are two distinct, different accounts of creation. So in Genesis 2:4, this would also be known as the Yahweh Elohim, Jehovah, Yeldebaoth. Basically, he's the arch procreator. So his goal was to annihilate true teachings and wisdom by encouraging falsehood. Now, just me saying this, think about Watchtower, because I also said Watchtower now in our day and age is this new nation that this arch procreator has tried to place into power as his people. So if you understand that Jehovah's goal is to annihilate true teachings and always has been since he rebelled, and true wisdom by encouraging falsehood, you will understand Watchtower. Now, this has happened throughout different religions, but as I explained, we do come and kind of mess up what he does. So you will have these religions with aspects of truth and lies intermingled into one religion. But for us at this point, for the goal at the end, that's good enough. As long as there's still some aspects of true worship in that religion. Okay. Um, okay, so that's basically a little snapshot of how we ended up how we are today. So what happened in between the first creation and the second creation is the rebellion. And this wasn't just on earth, this was actually, you know, what you would consider Star Wars. There were ones that just sided with different ones and destroyed their own homes, their own planets, were refugees, and then started trying to take over other, solar systems and whatnot. And I'm putting it out there just so you know, but it's not important to the here and now. And that's why I don't give a lot of background information about different, species outside of here and whatnot, because it's just extra information that really is not going to help you here and now for what humans need to do at this point as far as ascending spiritually in order to create what we would call a new earth. Okay. Let me get on track. So, yeah, basically these first beings that were created in the first creation were the 144,000. They were literally made in God's image. So I explained the splits to you. So that's why in Genesis chapter 1, 26 and 27, when it talked about God saying, "Let us make man in our image according to our likeness." And in 27, it says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them." So as I just said, I explained to you what source is, and that is why these beings on earth were created in sources or God's image, male and female. This wasn't Jesus and Jehovah. That's what, Jehovah's Witnesses like to teach. Because as I said before, if these were two masculine energies creating, then two masculine energies would have been created on earth, not male and female. Okay? So that's why this scripture is here. Because these beings literally were created in God's image. These were the 144,000. They were one androgynous being, so to speak, like Source, which, when split, had the masculine and the feminine energies and were co creators. Now, many of these, when the rebellion happened, um, basically began to take sides as well, which is why in Genesis, yeah, that's another story, but basically, this rebel had said that he would create enmity between her offspring and his offspring. So the masculine and the feminine energies basically would no longer be unified because this is what he wanted to basically create this disunity and divide between the masculine and the feminine energies, which he was very successful at doing and still is. So once he rebelled, he basically wanted to create his own nation, and that's been his goal since the rebellion. So he created his own spiritual Israelite as well. Now, even as far as the numbers are concerned, 144,000 that came from 72,000. I talk about numerology. Now, these all, if you add them up, the number is 9. So, no matter how far you multiply that source number, 9, if you add them up and condense them, you will always return to source, which is 9. So, yeah, that's the significance of the 9. It always returns to its source, no matter how far you get. So if you multiply 9 by 9, you're going to get 81. 8 plus 1 equals 9. And you can go far as you want, but when you add those all up, they still return to source. So that's with the 144,000. They literally were made in God's image. And at the heart of them, they are source. Okay. Okay. Moving on. I am so sorry if this is confusing. I'm trying my best. It is very difficult to have a lot of information and try and just condense everything into a 30 to 40-minute video. But once this arch procreator, basically what he is now, rebelled, his goal was to destroy anything that would even bring knowledge to true teachings and wisdom, as well as the true Father and the true Divine Mother, and even Source. Because remember, his goal was to make himself the God, the one and only God, which is why when you read the Hebrew scriptures, you see how jealous he is of other gods. Because, as I said, there are other lords, there are other splits, basically, of Source, which he is extremely jealous of. And they are named after planets as well, which, you know, that energy of this Yahweh or Jehovah is even jealous of the planets and their names because of what they stood for and stand for. But basically, when Jehovah or Yahweh, this rebel energy, created his own creations, which are Adam and Eve, which take place in Genesis chapter 2 and verse 4. There's a specific change there where it says, "This is the history of the heavens and the earth when they were created in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens." So this is when he started to create his own reality. And he did so in the Garden of Eve with Adam and Eve. So that's where that starts. Now, because of the way that this rebel energy created beings, to have this worship gene and be dependent and really be removed from divine love, there was a problem, an issue about what do we do, because technically some of the genetic material was used in order to create these beings, which definitely fall short of what Source stood for and the beings that were created by Source and the archetypes of Source who did vibrate in this frequency of divine love. So a plan was enacted that basically throughout millions of years, they would come to a point where they could be connected to Source and be part of the divine family. So that's what happened. But everything was going very well. It was successful. It was almost complete. And that's when this rebel energy and the ones that supported him basically put a stop to all the progress that was made. And so the flood happened. And basically, we had to start everything over again so that basically the plan would come to fruition. So that's where we are in here and the now. Um, things cannot continue at the expense of ones who are truly trying to do what's right. And these other ones are just taking advantage, is the best way to put it. So, yeah, that's where we are now. So, as far as, Enoch and Noah and all of these other ones, it has been a fight between what you would consider energies who do live by the divine law of love and ones who just want power and control. And the ones who want power and control have taken advantage of that unconditional love. But there's a certain point where that can no longer happen anymore. So, yeah. So many are here to help humanity at this very crucial time to shed everything that they think they've known. I'm even here to find ones I'm here to find, connect to those I'm here to connect with, but also reach out to those who have been led astray. Because if you understand unconditional love and family, true family, you're willing to do anything to bring them back. Almost anything. It's the true meaning of loving your enemies, the very ones who have hurt you the most. You still have unconditional love and compassion for. And you want to see them operate in divine love and unity once again. But if they refuse that, that is their choice. But as I said before, they will not be exempt from the consequences of their actions. It's why in other videos I say, and I mean it, to these very ones who rebelled, including the energies that are inhabiting the vessels of ones who are governing body members, that you are still loved. You can still repent. You can still do the right thing if you want to. If you want to. The choice is yours. But if you continually and knowingly keep doing what you're doing, taking advantage of love others and causing so much pain and harm to ones that don't deserve it, then you are deserving of the consequences of your own actions. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So, hopefully, things are somewhat clear. I have a lot to say, but a lot is some things that I don't want just to be information out there. There's enough of that out there already. I'm here to help. I'm not here to make a name for myself. I'm here on Source's behalf to basically make one last attempt to unify the universal family. That's what peace is about, and that's what love is about. Yeah, but that's why Jesus was about law, the law of love, and he acted that way. But what happened is who Jesus truly was, who God truly is, has been misrepresented by men and their doctrines, and even done so by means of this book. So, what's needed is ones that are not corrupted, who come directly from source to straighten matters up. What's true and what is false. And all the opposition and hatred comes with the territory. Because we are in an environment where we're not wanted. We're in an environment where truth is not welcome, but lies are, and falsehood, as I said. So I'm here to say, wake up. I'm here to say, stop judging. Put your differences aside and put love first. Because love is what's going to fix anything. Stop waiting for this miracle to fall out of the sky. Most of you now, can create your own realities. You've just been doing it for the wrong team. And I know many of you probably wonder about the information that I have and where it comes from. How I can speak for Jesus and for Source. But this was put before Jesus as well. By whose authority did he have to teach the things that he did? And if you really think about Jesus, he loved, he taught, but the true Jesus never put himself on a pedestal and never thought he was above anyone else. Because if you understand that source is everything, and everything around you is part of yourself, you don't elevate yourself over anything or anyone. Because you truly love everything. You love source. And because you love source and you are source, you love everything that is source. It is a disrespect to yourself to not acknowledge that you are something greater than just this physical vessel. It's time to start acting like it. Okay. I think that's it for today. I truly love you all, or I would not be here. This is not home to me. I'm very aware of that. But if it can help, if all of us who are here to help, if it makes a difference, which it will, all of the pain, all of the tears, all of the betrayals will have been worth it. Because the thing is, when you have that one true thing that you have unconditional love for, which is source. You can fight through all of the opposition, all of the badness, the evil, and transmute it into love. Yeah. All right, everyone. Take care. Peace be with you.